Thanks for joining us again for this final training segment on Delta 8. In the first two segments, we looked at what Delta 8 is, how it is consumed, and whether it is legal in Indiana. In this segment, we will be looking at the possible physical effects of Delta 8 and the impact to mental health. As a reminder, Delta 8 is a compound of THC, and while not as potent as Delta 9 marijuana, Delta 8 carries similar physical effects. As with its cousin, Delta 9, using too much Delta 8 can cause many effects. These can include anxiety, with or without heart palpitations and panic attacks, dry mouth. Delta 8 has effects on the salivary glands in the mouth and under the tongue, making the mouth feel dry and sticky. Dry eyes. Much like inside the mouth, the tear ducts and natural lubricants in our eyes are affected by Delta 8, making the eyes appear red and bloodshot, feel dry and irritated. Drowsiness. Using Delta 8 can cause a person to feel sleepy and have slow reaction time, inability to concentrate, feeling lightheaded and nauseous, lack of coordination, and memory loss. Delta 8 is not CBD. It is a psychoactive substance regardless of how it is consumed. One of the most popular ways to consume Delta 8 is through edibles. The danger of edibles is that they are not regulated and may not be labeled accurately to include the exact dosage of THC. If a person consumes more than one dose, they can experience extreme reactions and side effects. People who consume high levels of THC, like other substances, change the chemistry in their brain. The long-term side effects of Delta 8 on the body and mind have not been studied, though there is ample anecdotal data to suggest that it is not uncommon for people to experience negative and even dangerous side effects from consuming Delta 8. We have talked about the physical effects, and now let's look at the possible impact Delta 8 has on mental health. Because there has not been much research to date on Delta 8, and because it is so similar to Delta 9, the impact on mental health for both substances is likely to be similar. Both substances affect systems in the body, including the central nervous system, of which the brain is a part. Let's take a look at some mental health conditions and how they can be impacted by the use of Delta 8. Temporary psychosis and schizophrenia. Research from the CDC shows that people who use marijuana are more likely to develop temporary psychosis, not knowing what is real, hallucinations, and paranoia, and that marijuana worsens the symptoms of schizophrenia for those who already have the illness. Delta 9 and Delta 8 can produce psychotic reactions even in those people who don't have schizophrenia. There are some factors that influence the relationship between marijuana and schizophrenia. Age at first use, how much of the drug is used, how often the drug is used, a history of psychiatric disorders, and genetics. There isn't enough research on the use of Delta 8 and the connection to schizophrenia or temporary psychosis, but because we know how Delta 9 can impact people with schizophrenia, the research will likely show a similar link. And while some advocates believe these substances treat mental illnesses, currently there is a lack of clear scientific evidence to support that claim. Depression. While some people may think that using Delta 8 will reduce their symptoms of depression, the opposite could be true. It's not entirely clear if Delta 9 causes depression or if people who feel depressed are more likely to use it, but research is clear that it can increase symptoms. One study found that teens who smoked pot weekly were twice as likely to develop depression. As with schizophrenia, there is not a lot of research about the link between Delta 8 and depression, but knowing how Delta 9 THC can increase these feelings, the impact is likely to be the same. Anxiety. The amygdala is the brain's primary agent of anxiety. The chemical reaction in this part of the brain where serotonin is stored is what can cause anxiety when substances like THC are used. Though the benefits of Delta 8 are often touted as a natural substance to take to deal with feelings of anxiety, research is lacking and what is available does not make a clear connection. There are many products on the market, such as gummies, that are promoted to be a natural alternative to anxiety medications. Anecdotal data from some users of Delta 8 shows no positive impact and an increase in symptoms of anxiety for others. The CDC reports adverse reactions that have also required hospitalization, including from edibles. Clearly, much more research needs to be done on Delta 8 and all THC-related products, and it will show up in a urine drug screen. Most of the information available on this variant is from the industry which promotes its use. Because there is a lack of regulation for Delta 8, including product labeling, and since there has been no safe doses established, the CDC has created a health advisory for consumers, urging caution when considering use. In 2021, the American Association of Poison Control Centers, AAPCC, introduced a product code specific to Delta 8 THC into its National Poison Data System, NPDS, allowing for the monitoring of Delta 8 THC adverse events. Bottom line, we don't know enough about Delta 8, the effects on the body, and its impact on mental health. The products are not well regulated, and most states don't have any laws surrounding its use. And new variants come out every day. Delta 10 has now emerged. These products make it more challenging for prevention professionals to educate about its use and for law enforcement to tell the difference between legal products and products that are not. It's not clear if the federal government will amend the Farm Bill Act to close the loophole that legalizes the use of Delta 8 and other derivations like Delta 10. Until then, states should encourage an in-depth study of Delta 8 and include stakeholders from prevention, treatment, behavioral health, public health, law enforcement, industry, and the agency which would be responsible for regulation. What does Delta 8 mean for your campus? You probably have students who are already using Delta 8 since it is currently legal in Indiana. They can be consuming it in edibles, oils, smoking it, or vaping it. You might consider adding programming related to Delta 8 to make sure students are aware of the potential dangers. Also, keep an eye on your students' data related to substance use and mental health. Has there been an increase in Delta 8 use? Have you noticed an increase in students reporting more frequent mentally unhealthy days? Until we have more data about Delta 8 and until the federal government or states regulate it, you may have to create your own policies for use surrounding this product. Thanks for joining us for this series on Delta 8. Please click the link in the video description to take the brief but very important evaluation of this training. We hope you can join us for the next training series, and if you have any suggestions for topics that you would like to learn more about, please share that with us by emailing lhutchison@mhai.net. Thanks! We thank our funder and partner in prevention, the Indiana Division of Mental Health and Addiction, for supporting this training.